Well, okay, I don't know if you picked up on it, but it is Mother's Day. A lot of things going on. Mothers that's a unique role, and even though Ron has never experienced it, nor have I, Ron, how would you describe mom? You know, I mean, people work about, what if you had to use one word to describe, a great mom, what would that one word be? Joella. Okay, that's a name, and I agree with it, but that's not exactly what I'm looking for, but I appreciate that. What do we got? I can't hear you. Sacrifice, okay. Patient, caring, nurturing. Who said that? You did, okay. Loving. That was your second answer, but okay. Self, not just sacrificial, but self-sacrificial. Yeah, there's all kinds of things that describe mothers. And I know if we really think of it, our moms have taught us a lot. And this is the first Mother's Day, in my experience, that we're actually got a mother going to help bring the lesson. Now, she's not here necessarily to praise motherhood because that'd be a bit self-seeking, but she's, yeah. But my mom, I know, has taught me many things. Phyllis, as a mom, has taught me many things. Like, for instance, taught me the practicality of thinking things through before you act by saying things like,
I just finished cleaning the house. If you're going to kill each other, do it outside.
All right. My mother taught me the wisdom of planning ahead.
Make sure you wear underwear in case you're in an accident.
Although, depending upon the accident, that might not help. I know. My mom taught me the nuances of irony.
Oh, keep crying and I'll give you something to cry about.
How many of you have heard that one? Or the great value in anticipation.
Just wait till we get home, or wait until your father gets home.
Oh, all right. My mother taught me about justice.
One day you'll have kids, and I hope they turn out just like you.
And lastly, more appropriate for today, my mom taught me about religion.
You better pray that comes out of the carpet.
Moms teach us a lot of things, but there's so many different things to describe mother. And Reuben, you win the prize because you mentioned the one that we're going to talk about today, and that is nurturing. Nurturing is one of those words. As a matter of fact, when someone is very nurturing, we often say that they are being very maternal. Okay, and even that word maternal means denoting feelings associated with or typical to a mother. So nurturing and maternal are almost synonymous because the definition of nurture is to promote growth, to furnish, to sustain, to provide for. Now, we understand not everybody had moms who were loving and nurturing. We all come from different backgrounds and different histories. For instance, myself, both my parents were there and very loving and supporting and nurturing to me.
But mine were very different than that. By the time I came along, my brothers are 9 and 10 years older than I am. Life was, I'm going to say, chaotic and difficult. So therefore, there was a lot of life situations that really my mom was not able to nurture and to love me. And as I grew older, I was able to understand that sometimes emotional and life situations she was not able to do that and be that for me.
However, it's Mother's Day. Mm-hmm. And the Bible does call us to honor our father and our mother. As a matter of fact, that phrase, if you look it up in the Bible, it comes up in Exodus, it comes up in Deuteronomy. You jump to the New Testament, Jesus mentions it 2 separate occasions, which is recorded in Matthew, and then 2 separate occasions are also recorded in Mark. Luke records Jesus saying it. I don't know what John's deal was. He did not record it. But Paul does say it in the book, the epistle to the Ephesians. And so we see it all over this principle, honor your father, honor your mothers. And so today is a special day to honor mothers.
You know, Paul describes the spirit of a nurturing mother in 1 Thessalonians chapter 2, verses 7 and 8, when he said, just as a nursing mother cares for her children, so we cared for you. Because we loved you so much, we were delighted to share with you not only the gospel of God, but our lives as well. So this morning, in the spirit of nurturing, we want to talk about this morning how for a while, we honor all mothers and acknowledge their special roles in our lives. But we want to share a message of hope and encouragement to everyone this morning by sharing something that we all can benefit from. Because if we can embrace this spirit of nurturing to one another, it will benefit each one of us personally, and it will benefit the church as a whole. And there's a Proverbs. You know there's always a Proverbs for everything, right? So Proverbs 11:25 says, yes, the liberal man shall be rich. By watering others, he waters himself. He who refreshes others will himself be refreshed. So don't we all want to be rich? This isn't monetary. This is about spiritual. This is about inward richness. So when we nurture, when we water, when we help someone, really, we're getting it back 10 times fold. So we are the ones that are rich when we give and nurture to others. So as a mom, okay,
you get to share from your perspective then, and as a grams, right? What drives you to be nurturing to your kids and your grandkids?
You know, he's asked me this all week, and I just had to sit for a couple of days and think about it, because as a mom, as a parent, you think about that. That's very deep. It's got many layers to it. Each depth has layers. So it's really hard to put into words, but I will try. I think now being a grandparent and looking back on all the stages of our kids and even where our kids are now, my heart, my desire is to give all of myself to them, to help them to know that they are loved, to be there to help them physically, emotionally, spiritually, to be their biggest cheerleader, to know that when they come home, they can come home when they're hurting, they can come home to celebrate, they can come home to just be, that my love for them is just unconditional, and that they are just deeply loved and cared for.
Yeah, I don't know. Some people will say, well, that's great, but that's just not me. You know, I'm not nurturing, but I don't believe that. I believe all of us have within us this drive to be nurturing. I think it's part of what drives us to seek a spouse, to seek a partner, to seek a mate. I think it's what drives us to have children, whether it's biologically or to adopt. It sneaks up on us in a kind of a special, surprising way as grandparents. You know, you think I'm done with that nurturing thing, and then all of a sudden it just comes back over you all over again. It's probably what drives some of us to have pets and treat them better than we treat our friends.
And our spouse, and our spouses.
With men, it is expressed in how we like to, with projects and things, we want to fix stuff. We want to rescue people, because that's what we do. Women, it tends to come out, that's what drives you to say, how was your day? Tell me every detail. Tell me how you feel about every detail. And all of these things. It's this drive to be nurturing. And I think that drive comes from the fact that deep down, we all want to be nurtured. Mm-hmm. We all want to be valued ourselves. And when we look at this and we seek to be nurtured and we seek that nurturing, we see God giving it to us. And then it dawns on us, God's giving it to me so I can give it to others.
Yep.
And like Phyllis said, this is not just motherhood nurturing. This is being nurturing to one another. I want to look at a passage in Romans 16. Now, Romans 16, this is one of those passages that sometimes some people call them throwaway passages. You know, they're just kind of, Paul's just going through, say hi to this person, say hi to that person, tell this person I said hello. And we tend to just skip over all of those, right? And so we run into one of those in verse 13. But if we dig a little deeper, we can find some nuggets in there of wisdom. He says, greet Rufus. Don't you love that name? I had a great cousin named Rufus, really, in my family, but okay. Great Rufus, chosen in the Lord, and his mother, who has been a mother to me too. Now, in the Greek, it could be, technically it would read Rufus and his mother and mine too. And it could be Rufus's mom and my mom, but I don't think that's what he's getting at. Obviously the translators of the NIV doesn't think so either. They kind of helped us out by saying, she's been a mother to me. And I think that's what Paul was getting at. This woman, whoever she was, has been a mother to me. And when you think about Paul, he was an adult. He was a grown man. Didn't live there. Okay, this wasn't his hometown that he grew up with. Whoever Rufus's mom was, evidently they met later. He's the most influential leader in the church around the world, the known world at the time. Yet he needed somebody to nurture him. He needed that in his life. And we sometimes think of nurturing as what we do with the little ones, what we do with the young. And that's true. That is an aspect of nurturing we're going to talk about in just a second, that aspect of growing and raising up and training. But there's a whole nother aspect of nurturing that's more temporal. It's more situational. It's more of the act of giving comfort, giving encouragement, giving support in different situations. And I believe that's what Paul said, man, she was like a mother to me. She was what I needed when things got rough.
And this is a lesson that all of us can learn from, men and women. So, and like Tracy said, we don't know what her name was, so I gave her a name. Rufus's mom is Natalia the nurturer, or nurturing Natalia, whatever.
But it's Natalia, one way or the other. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Just wanted to be able to remember that. But it's so important to give to other people, to nurture to other people, to support them and comfort them. And if we have learned anything in this last year, I was thinking, what has it been, 14, going on 15 months with COVID? And I'm sure we were all thinking about it in January of 2020. We just didn't know what we were calling it yet. But our concerns were being raised back then. But so anyway, it just made me think of these comments that I've heard in this last 15 months, but things that we have all felt at one level or another, and how we can have been supportive and giving to one another. But I just want to go through some of these phrases. Like, have you had someone come to you and just say, what, this is impossible. I think I'm losing my mind. I don't know if I can go on. It's just impossible to, especially balancing life and motherhood and home and children and, So when that happens, we can turn to them and say, what, I got you, I understand. But you know what, God says all things are possible with him. So let's go to God. Let's pray to God together. When someone comes and they say, I'm just tired. I am tired. I'm tired. Do you understand? I'm tired. I'm tired. Because all you can say is, I'm just tired. And, we can go, yeah, I'm tired. Maybe you're a little bit more tired than I am right now. But we can remind them that God says, that Jesus says, come to me, and I will give you rest. And then when someone may come to you or may have come to you in this last year and say, I just can't anymore. I can't go on. I'm at the bottom. I was up here and now I'm way down here and I don't see a way out. And we can look and say, yeah, I'm at the bottom too. So you know what? God says that my grace is sufficient for you. And when you're at your lowest, when I'm at my lowest, I'm at my best. So let's see how God is going to lift each other up. All right? Or when, gosh, how many people have felt this in this last year, that I just can't figure things out. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to plan. I don't know where my life is going. I just feel lost. Yeah, I get it. But one of my favorite scriptures is Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord. Trust in the Lord. Lean on him. And he, our God, is going to make our path straight. So, if we read the Bible through the looking for nurturing or nurture, we're going to find it everywhere. God is constantly nurturing us through His Word. What a blessing. Because you know what? We turn around and we give that to somebody else. So, you know, we had Natalia, the nurturer, nurturing Rufus. Who can you be, Natalia, the nurturer, this week? Think about it. Who is someone that you can encourage, that you can give strength to this week? Not your spouses. Okay?
Sorry, Devin.
Yeah.
You thought,
Yeah, not your spouses. You know, and just, you know, Emily mentioned Joella. Oh my goodness. Haven't we all benefited from her nurturing? Yes. Cards on Mother's Day, Father's Day, spiritual birthdays, anniversaries, physical birthdays.
Arbor Day.
Maybe Arbor Day, Easter, Valentine's Day, I mean, Christmas. I mean, this, and her cards are filled with courage and strength and comfort. I mean, what a woman. You know, I think Joella is someone that we just need to imitate more often. She's just that type of person. So this week, whether you're a man or woman, because you know Natalia was a woman, but Rufus was a man. It doesn't have to be women just encouraging women or men just encouraging men. We can cross gender here because we are brothers and sisters. We are a family. I know in our family, we just don't say, okay, just the girls encourage the girls and just the boys, you know. We encourage one another. So think about it. Is it going to be a call? Is it going to be are you going to be able to send a note? It's wonderful to get things in the mail, not, you know, just a text or an email. But just a word of strength and encouragement. It's so encouraging. So think about this week. Maybe encourage two people, a man and a woman, a brother and a sister.
Awesome. Now, with that in mind, I'm going to read another passage. This is in Hebrews chapter 10. And what Phyllis shared about, okay, God nurtures us so we can nurture one another. And I'm going to read this passage that we often quote. It's more familiar than the Romans 16 passage, but I want us to think about it in the context of nurturing, okay? It says, therefore, brothers and sisters, since we have confidence to enter the most holy place by the blood of Jesus, by a new and living way opened for us through the curtain, that is His body, and since we have a great priest over the house of God, let us draw near to God with a sincere heart and with full assurance that faith brings, having our hearts sprinkled to cleanse us from a guilty conscience and having our bodies washed with pure water. Let us hold unswervingly to the hope that we profess, for He who promised is faithful, and let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together, as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching. Now, we think about this in the context of nurturing. What he says is guys, spur one another on towards love. That's how you nurture one another. He says, guys, spur one another on to good deeds. That's how you nurture one another. He says, guys, don't give up meeting together. In other words, be there for each other. Be there for each other. That's how you nurture. And then encourage one another. And he says, why do I do this? Because he says, look at all of what God has done for you. He allows us to enter into His presence with confidence. He's there for us. He doesn't give up meeting with us. He says, no, come on, let's meet. He gave us a great high priest to represent us, to defend us, to support us when we need it and we can't support ourselves. He cleanses us from all guilt. He's there to say, yeah, I know you messed up, but you know what? We can make it through this. We can do this together, and I'm not going to hold this over your head. And then it says He is faithful and trustworthy. That means He's just there all the time. That's how He nurtures us. And He says we need to nurture one another the way God nurtures us. So as we think about that, don't just think about mothers, although it's Mother's Day and we do that, and mothers are very nurturing, but we need to be that for one another. And then there's that other aspect of nurturing, the teaching part.
Oh, yes. You know, there is another aspect, like Tracy said, teaching, training, raising up. And you know the Bible speaks often of the older women or older men, both older people, teaching the younger. And we constantly have people going through different life stages. So I'm just going to share for a little bit, and I know that our numbers may be off just a little bit, so grace, please. Of just some things that Tracy and I have noticed in the past 5 years in our church, and our family right here. So in the past 5 years, we have had 12 couples get married. So in the past 5 years, we've had 24 babies born. So in the past 5 years, I know.
Some people have helped along more than others, yeah.
That's true. In the past 5 years, we've had 11 couples become empty nesters. In the past 5 years, we've had at least 9+ people retire. We kind of lost count with that. And, you know, we have, I'm going to say, a gem of older women. They're diamonds, they're rubies, they're sapphires. Oh my goodness, I love to sit at their feet and learn from them. So much wisdom, spiritual maturity, joy, and love that we can learn from. And I'm sure there are older men like that. I'm just with the women more often, so I'm speaking
Giving you the
for the
benefit of
women.
the doubt, Mark, yeah.
Yeah. And if you think about it, you know, last week we honored our graduates. I mean, we've had 3 graduating from high school. Is it 11 or 14 from campus?
8 this year.
Oh, 8. Okay. I was thinking more.
Well,
Maybe
they
I'm
were
adding.
they also talk about people who kind of graduated, but now they're moving out of the campus ministry.
Yeah.
That was 3 off there,
Okay,
yeah.
maybe. Yeah, anything can throw me off. Anyway, so we've got young people entering new stages of life, not just our marrieds, but just entering new stages. And you know, we need to be nurturing each other through these stages. I know that there are women here, and I know that there are men that go, you know what, I'm just going to go after this brother. I'm just going to go after this young sister. I'm gonna be in their life. I love that, and we need that, and we need more of that. We don't need to wait for the leadership to say, hey, when are you gonna do something? No, do it, because you know what? That's your family. This is your family. And we have so much to offer. Each and every person here has so much to offer. You have life experience. You have your walk with God. You just have work experience. And you may think, Phyllis, you don't know my life. I can't share. Yeah, you can. Because some of us who have had some really traumatic things in our lives, those are the lessons we've learned the most from. And those are the lessons that people will benefit from. So I think, yeah, every single person in this room and online or whoever's watching, you have something to give. You've had lots of successes, and we've all had some failures. And you know, I mean, our kids call us up and ask us for advice. Now, they know and God knows that we were not perfect parents. But they still call us and they go, hey, what do you think about this? Or hey, this is going on. Because they know that, you know what, we've been where they've been. We understand that part of life. And we've made some mistakes, and we're going to teach them from the mistakes, or we're going to share with them what other people have taught us. So we all of us have something to give.
Exactly, and I want to reiterate that point, because I do hear it a lot. Like people say, you don't know, man. I've made so many mistakes in my marriage, or I've made so many mistakes with this or that. I don't have anything to offer anybody else. The truth is, you may have more than anybody else. Because usually it's the mistakes that teach us the biggest lessons. All right? So don't use that as an excuse. We can nurture one another and help one another, and we need to. That's all of it. All of it's a part of nurturing. Yeah, there is that building up, that training up, that helping people through, as Phyllis said, those stages and changes in life that our church, we're going all through them. Okay? And we've all got somebody or several somebodies here who's been through it before. And we need to nurture one another through it. And then also, though, we need that more situational nurturing, where someone's going through something hard, or they just need somebody to come up to them, put their arm around them, support them, encourage them, be there for them, spur them on. It's just like a mom Just like a mom. Moms are there for their kids. They raise them, they train them, they teach them, they help them mature and they grow. And sometimes they're doing that, and sometimes all they need to do is just hold them and kiss their boo-boo and make it all better. Sometimes you just need mama to do that. That's what we need to be for one another. Sometimes we need to disciple, train, teach, and sometimes we just need to encourage somebody and make them feel like it's going to be all right and make them feel better. I pray that Phyllis and I both pray that you have a great day today. We can honor our mothers in whatever way. And like you know, with both of us, our mothers have passed. But we have mothers like Rufus's mom, Natalia. We have other people in our lives. And we can honor them, just like I'm sure Paul would honor Natalia, as he mentions her in the Bible. So take this day and take this time to encourage those people. And then as Phyllis called us all to do, let's think about this week. 2 people that I can nourish and encourage this week. 1 man, 1 woman. Let's just build one another up in the Lord and support and nourish one another. Amen? Amen. Amen.